Hello friends, my name is Nayaswami Hriman and I'm speaking to you from the Blue Lotus Temple near Seattle, Washington. And I'd like to share with you some of the wit and wisdom of Chapter 10 of the Autobiography of a Yogi, I Meet My Master, Swami Sri Yukteswar. Now, this was a pivotal point in Yogananda's life. He was called Mukunda then. He was a high schooler. It was pivotal because this was when he was going to finally leave home in his search for God. By a mixture of comedy and miracles, he managed to graduate from the Hindu high school, and that is a story in itself. But I think I'm not alone in probably being among those who, at the conclusion of my high school, went off on my life's journey also. Now, at that point, he went to Benares, the ancient city where great rishis down through the centuries had lived, and he went to the Mahamandal hermitage. We don't know why he chose that hermitage because there was no practice of meditation being given there except by the Swami himself. And so that immediately caused some tension between himself and the other boys who were there in the hermitage. And so it was that over time, as he spent more dawn and morning hours meditating, that the boys became increasingly unhappy with him. Throughout that time, his earnest prayer, as it had been earlier in life, was to find God, to go on his journey and on to fulfill his destiny. However, the tension increased, and one day he went up into the attic in the home and prayed intensely. And there came to him at that point a voice from nowhere and anywhere. And it said to him, "Suddenly I felt lifted as though bodily to a sphere uncircumscribed. Thy master cometh today." A divine womanly voice came from everywhere and nowhere. And then proceeded, as he was called downstairs to go shopping for the kitchen there at the hermitage, there came an incident, an episode in his life that changed his life and ours. As they were shopping, he passed by an alley in Benares where a Christ-like man in ochre robes of a Swami stood motionless at the end of the road. Instantly and anciently familiar he seemed. My gaze fed hungrily for a trice, then doubt assailed me. So he walked on, but his feet would not allow it, and he was forced back, as it were, saying to himself, "The saint is magnetically drawing me to him." He retraced his steps and there met his guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar. He touched his feet, saying, "Guru Deva." The divine face, he wrote, was none other than he of 1,000 visions. These halcyon eyes in leonine head with pointed beard and flowing locks had oft peered through the gloom of my nocturnal reveries. "O my own," Sri Yukteswar said, "O my own, you have come to me. How many years I have waited for you." We entered a oneness of silence. Later on in the evening, as they exchanged their eternal promise of divine love one to the other, and then had conversation in which Sri Yukteswar revealed he knew all of Yogananda's life. Finally, Sri Yukteswar said, "You should go back to Calcutta." "Sir, I am not returning home, but I will follow you anywhere. Where do you live?" Sri Yukteswar revealed that he lived quite near to Calcutta. "You will come to me in 4 weeks." I remained obstinately silent. He did not want to go back home because his brother Ananta predicted he would come home and be with the family. My guru easily penetrated my difficulty. "Do you think your relatives will laugh at you? I will not return. You will return in 30 days. And indeed, as the story closed, he did return in 30 days to be trained by his guru. And thus it was that the joyous reunion had a bit of a sour note, because as the disciple offers his life to the guru, he must be prepared to give it all.